Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking and going over the multi-class system. Now I know that you've heard of ambush and sprint barbs, dark reflection wizards, and all of the rest of the meta is absolutely stinking with these certain perks. First of all, let's go over quickly how the multi-classing system actually works as a whole, and how one actually might be able to achieve the build that they're looking for. So first of all, let's head over to the class section of the Dark and Darker homepage. Here you'll notice a bunch of your characters here. They're grayed out. So the way it works is, once you achieve Master on any class, which means level 30 by the way, then any class that is above the level of 35 will be able to pull one of 3 random skills, perks, or abilities from the draw. Kind of like a slot machine. So now we've gone over the very basics, let's go over what I've decided to build. So, looking over at the spells tab, I've obviously decided to build somewhat of a bit of a spell sword here. The main ones that I was going for was Ignite, which I think was quite important to the build, Haste and Invis, to sort of try and get an upper hand on an initial engagement, which obviously is fantastic as a fighter. Ignite, Invis, and Haste are quite low-cost spells, so they're pretty easy to fit into the utility. Obviously, fighter doesn't have very much knowledge built into it, but it worked fine. For our perks, we've got Swift, Weapon Mastery, Sword Mastery, and Reactive Shield. I did prefer possibly having the Ice Shield over the Reactive Shield, but so far the Reactive Shield has been treating me pretty well. You also will need something like either Ice Bolt or Zap or maybe even Fireball as just your sort of something to be able to pepper somebody from range. Softening somebody up before an initial engagement is an important part of winning a fight. So taking something like Ice Bolt or Fireball may also be something that is ideal. For most of Dark and Darker, since it came out, I've played mostly Cleric, and then as soon as Warlock was released, I pretty much primarily used Warlock as that was the closest thing to a spell sword that was available. Now I can craft an actual spell sword, so I've leveled a Fighter as my main, which I never do by the way. Fighter is hilariously easy to manage compared to something like Cleric or Warlock. I also had no idea how much fun it was actually going to be to play a fighter. And also I had to level my wizard, of course, to level 30, as that's the class that I'm going to need to level to actually pull the spells from. So in general, leveling the fighter, very fun. Being able to use the bow, run around, it was a very good experience. Playing with the wizard, and that's absolutely nothing to do with, you know, the wizard itself. The wizard isn't bad. It's just one of those classes where if you're not good, you feel it really strongly. And if you are good, I think you also feel it very strongly. Like, a good wizard is, you know, will absolutely dominate. And someone like me, who is a very poor wizard, will not. We've got a little bit of a barbarian engagement here. He's got an absolutely chunker of a hammer. We do manage to hit him. He takes off half of my HP in one swing, and luckily I managed to miss that second swing, which definitely wins me that engagement there. Now, I haven't got Reactive Shield at the moment of this build. You will see Reactive Shield in some of the fights that I'll be doing a little bit later on. Reactive Shield as well would have absolutely saved my bacon there, big time. So all in all, I think I have very much been enjoying I've been enjoying the experience of fighter a lot more than I've been enjoying wizard. Whilst I was leveling wizard, this is at the very beginning of multi-class where leveling takes ages. It's been a big slog. And so leveling a class that I'm just bad with, it feels bad, man. It feels bad, man. It takes so long to level. Since the footage that you're seeing, there has been many updates, hotfixes, and multi-classing is a lot easier now, a lot easier to do, which I'm very grateful for. It has been a lot more convenient. So the way I usually do these videos structure-wise is I'll show you a few kills, how it works, how the build works, Then I'm going to show you a full game of sort of just going from beginning to end. So I saw a barbarian in the room, and I didn't want him to run or zombies to sneak up on me. So I get off my ignite, my haste, my invis, and then I'm just in. Two tap the barbarian. I did get quite lucky. One more shot, I would have died. I actually did need that bug shell as well for a quest, funny enough. So we're lucky that we grabbed that. And moving swiftly on to the next engagement. Here, I heard somebody draw their weapon around me. So I was like, okay, right, time to drink a potion and get all my buffs up. So I start sort of running back to try and get some cover. Ignite, haste. And then I get tagged with an arrow, and I'm like, oh, goddamn. Oh, the dude's there. So I start rushing him. My buffs end up running out before I even get to the guy. So I end up popping second wind, thinking that this is going to be a hard slog of a fight, because I've ended up engaging with like no buffs or anything like that. And the dude just folded. So I'm not too sure. He must have been on very low health there for me to just one-tap him like that. But goodness me, not a fun time for him indeed. So essentially, all we're doing is we're putting on haste on ourselves, then invis, and obviously ignite. Haste first because it's got the higher of the durations, and then ignite, and then invisibility as your last one. And it's been working really well. Second wind, I think a part of me thinks that maybe I should swap second wind out for sprint, because I have had a few engagements where I sort of am trying to catch up with people, or say a warlock or a ranger or something like that, and they're just managing to outmaneuver me with their move speed. I think sprint might be able to help solve that situation. It's just second wind, I think it's a bit more of like a safe ability. I think if you feel like you're going to make a mistake or something like that in combat, second wind can sort of help negate that. So it can be really, really strong. So let's go over and watch a full game of my Eldrich Knight looking build. A bit of a battle mage game. Happy for some tips. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And yeah, here we go. Here's a full game for you. So I'm not going to show the actual full game. I'm going to try and skip through some of the boring parts and then sort of obviously cut into some of the fights and things as well. So I'm playing normals at the moment. Now, the reason I'm playing normals is because I don't know if anyone else has this. Please tell me I'm not the only one. But whilst I was building this fighter and wizard, one thing that I did notice is that I've got all this utility, right? I can invis. I think I've got fireball at this moment in time. So I can invis, I can throw a fireball, I can do all sorts of things. But when it comes to combat, as soon as I'm in the heat of the moment, and there is, you know, a barbarian staring at me, a ranger peppering me down, for some reason, all of my brain power disappears, and I don't know what the hell it is that is the reason it happens. It's like, when I was playing Warlock, I never really had a problem with, like, throw some Curse of Pain, you know, Power of Sacrifice somebody if I was playing a Torture Mastery build, or, you know, High Drain and try and block them through the doors or whatever with Hydra. But with Fighter, there's something about playing a Fighter that is like, as soon as it gets to engagement and something's happening, I just want to press W and run at them. And it's gotten me killed a number of times. So the reason I'm playing normals is to try and force myself to use all the utility that I've got, right? So use my spells, use my invises, and try and make something happen with what I've got. So I'm running around the dungeon, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing my looting, I'm doing my killing, you know, nothing special, just keeping an ear to the ground, trying to listen for players. As I come through the door, I meet my first hero here, who is a naked ranger. So immediately I'm like, okay, I've got fireball, I can do this. So I get my fireball locked and loaded. I throw one out, immediately miss it automatically. Try and ignite my weapon. For some reason, I cast Invis here. You tell me why a fighter is casting Invis 2 feet away from a ranger and not just running at them. I have no idea. This is what I'm talking about with the brain power. Now it's gone the other way, and I'm thinking too much about casting spells and not enough about just playing the character. So luckily I've got second wind, and this is what I'm talking about in those situations where you mess up. Second wind really can be a lifesaver. It can really help you. Standard naked archer plays, puts the weapon away and just absolutely legs it. Here is where you're like, I really would want sprint. I try to get over the lip there and realise it ain't happening, so I end up dropping down. Now this is not bad at all here. I come down to the Goblin Cave's door, and I see that he's following me. Just try to dodge one of his arrows so I can cast off Invis, giving me some, you know, momentum and speed to get closer to him. I've got my book out. He sees it as his opportunity to come at me with a weapon. My reactive shield has popped off, and I have just, by an absolute hair, snagged it. I don't teabag people, by the way. I'm not toxic, I swear to God. It was just, this is off the back of being kited like 3 or 4 games in a row by Warlock's Curse of Paining me and just running away and me not being able to do much damage. And so killing that dude from range, it was like relief had been dropped off my shoulders. I was like, finally! Someone that's trying to kite me that I've ended up winning the engagement. And I only barely won it. Only barely. Usually, to be fair, I do a lot better. But Fireball is one of those ones where you kind of want Ice Bolt rather than Fireball. I won't lie to you. It's a little bit better, I think, for faraway engagements like that. Of course, because you can slow people down with the Ice Bolt as well. So we've managed to kill a ranger. And we are doing our thing, just healing up, making sure that we've got all of our meds locked and loaded. We're not leaving anything, behind. And this dude, I mean, gosh, look at all that treasure. Goodness me, I am spoiled for choice here. 2 items in his bag. Wow. Very, very, very lucky. Now, I carry on the game just looking for some people, doing my average looting, and I decided something that I have been thinking about doing is going down to the Goblin Caves, as in the troll boss. I don't usually do the bosses. I mean, there is a few times where I've attempted to do the troll boss, but I haven't really got the hang of his moveset, so I always end up getting killed. So if I do end up going near the boss, it's usually because there's somebody around there and I'm wanting to see if I can, get in there, get a little bit of an engagement after they've either fought the troll boss or what have you. But in this particular occasion, I got particularly lucky. So I've gone down to the boss and I've heard that there's a bit of a scrap going on in there. Now there's a couple of things going through my mind. I'm thinking I've got 3 options here. 1, I run in and I try and kill him and then maybe even attempt to kill the troll boss itself and just take everything. 2, I wait until the troll boss is dead and see if I can go in and get the kill afterwards, which, to be fair, I'm sure many people would agree that's probably the safest but rattiest option of them all. But luckily, the dude ended up coming out. I think he must have got hit by the troll, and he just comes legging out of there, like sprinting for his life. Absolutely chock-a-block. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's no problem at all. I'll take that all day long. So I'm just sorting out the inventory here. And with that, to be honest, guys, it does conclude the game. I sort of got my kill there, filled up my stash, and I ended up dipping for a bit of extra gold, which, to be fair, you can never say no to that, eh? So essentially, guys, that is the build. That's the game. That's the build. That's sort of how the multi-classing works. Anyone out there who's doing an old wizard and fighter multi-class, tell me, how has it been going? What perks have you been doing? What skills, spells have you been using? What have you been seeing to your success? Because I would really like to give it a proper go, this build, and build it the best I can, because it's probably the most fun I've ever had playing Dark and Darker, is playing this fighter wizard combo. I've been having an absolute blast. And so, you know, it gets a little bit further on into the game and we end up finding ourselves a little blue portal. And with that, we extract and that's it. Victory. Victory. A couple of kills. I felt really good, to be honest. I felt really good playing the fighter. I really wish, more than anything, there's a game I had yesterday where I ended up playing a normals lobby and I think I killed 7 of the 9 players. Literally just by igniting, invis, hasting, and sort of like running around and engaging with people that way. It was an absolute bloodbath, but of course I didn't record the footage, did I? So I just sound like someone on high copium telling you that this build is absolutely awesome. Now, it's not meta, but to be fair, who the hell does really want to run meta these days? All the meta builds, they're kind of cringe, they're kind of boring. Build something unique, build something fun, build something that people don't see every day. That's the best way to play the game in my mind. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it more than anything. Here's our little blue portal. I would just like to thank all of my subscribers, all of my members, Tnamic, Mesh, Nubs, you know who you are. Thank you very much, my members. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you very much, all my viewers. I really appreciate you. We'll be doing some more Dark and Darker content very soon, continuing the old fighter wizard multi-class and how that goes. Maybe I'll do a little 0 to hero on that build, perhaps. But and with that, guys, that's signing out the video. Thank you very much, everybody. Have an awesome day. I will see you in the next one, and until then, take it easy. See you now, guys. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.